Oh, blessed love family, give thanks for your presence with us. We give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Of course, this is a live, as they call it, presentation. Although, I mean, we consider anytime we come before you that we are live, because we are alive. What you say about that? But of course, I'm just waiting for the family to come in. We will be taking. Well, we were hoping to come in at 6 o'clock, but you could say that the timing didn't. We kind of went over that time, so we're going to take maybe 30 minutes or so. If possible, we could go more, maybe 40 minutes, and deal with some question and answers. As I know, many were very thankful for that previous question and answering session that we had. So we are going to be definitely going into that. And while I'm waiting for the family to come in, I already have one question, that I'm going to start with. But while I'm waiting for the family to come in, let me just remind everyone again that, well, for sure, the reason why this one is going to be short, you don't know, at 7 p.m., it is the Tiger's Nest. So for sure, if you're just coming in and seeing this late, the Tiger's Nest is on at 7 p.m. sharp, Radio Anu. Of course, you know how to get to Radio Anu. The link is in the description below. And this evening, we really will be burning a serious fire. We things that we can't really address here on these platforms. And we'll be continuing that discussion as it relates to the so-called stance that Disney is now taking to make sure they have at least 50% or more people in their programs that are of the sodomite persuasion. Basically, we're talking about that. So make sure you tune into the Tiger's Nest. And then again, for sure, if thanks for everyone coming in, remember that tonight at 8 p.m. This is tonight specifically. Tonight is the 9th of May, and that will be the official workshop that we have been speaking so much about. And the workshop itself being presented by Redemption Healing, specifically by the Honorable Empress Naya. That is this evening for sure. I mean, it begins at 8. So if it's not 8, you still have a chance, but you'd have to move now, and contact us and see exactly what the position is and see if you could still get a space for that workshop this evening, talking about the natural child birthing workshop. Wonderful. Now, as I said, we will also taking some questions on this end once we could answer them. But as I said, we already had a few. And let me take the first one that I have until those in the chat start to furnish any. Now, one of the questions that I got, of which this is something that we would have dealt with before, but I said, okay, let us still deal with it again. And the question basically was, if I could prove from the Bible that Africa was once one nation, one governance, and so forth. And to be very honest, I was quite a bit shocked. That's a very easy thing to answer. In fact, I think it's a bit more difficult to answer if Africa was one historically. That would actually be difficult to say. You're proving that that Africa was one historically. I'm not saying that it can't be proven. I'm not saying I can prove everything, but I know for sure that would be a little more a touchier situation to get into. But now, as far as biblically, and of course, you already know of our book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, and this is one of the points that we highlight in the True Biblical Land of Israel, the point that I'm going to get to right now, as it relates to the oneness of the land of Africa. Now, and again, for sure, the True Biblical Land of Israel, you don't know, you could visit our website, priestIsaacInstitute.com, priestIsaacInstitute.com, And the link for the website is in the description below this video. So you could just scroll down and press the link, and that will carry you straight to the website. And just scroll through, man, you'll find the book. Go in the area called Shop, and you'll find the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. All right. I'm going to read again. This is not from the book, but this is quoted in the book. And again, we've done a program on this maybe, I think it was about 2 years ago. And it says here, now I'm reading from the book of Nahum. This is the Bible, Nahum chapter 3. Okay, I hope everyone is listening. And in verse 8, it says here, art thou better than populous Norway? Now it's spelled N-O, but if you know the scripture, the N is a capital N. So obviously it's what we call a proper noun, something like that. Yeah. So it's talking about a place anyway, and it's spelled N-O, but it's pronounced Norway. Some would say no, but it's pronounced Norway as well. Sometimes you see it spelled N-O-W-E just to assist with the pronunciation. Good. So art thou better than populous Norway, that was situate among the rivers? This is so important. And had the waters round about it, whose rampart was the sea, and her wall was from the sea. Verse 9 says, Ethiopia and Egypt were her strength, and it was infinite. Put and Luben were thy helpers. Okay. And it actually goes on to say, yet she was carried away, she went into captivity. All that is true. But you see, we're not dwelling on those points, because somebody would quickly pick up those points and say, but look, it says this, and look, it says that. Yeah, we that's not what we are arguing here. In fact, we're not even arguing at all. We're just highlighting, something important here. All right. So this is just saying, art thou better than populous? No, and God is speaking, if I'm not mistaken, to the people of Nineveh, and he's asking them, are you better than populous? Populous means that the place had a lot of people. It was a big city. In fact, before we go into all of that, let's just speak about the city, Norway. Now, Norway was also known as Waset, or Waset. And in fact, most of it is the modern day city of Luxor. So let me just read something on it here. Thieves, the biblical Norway, is known to the ancient Egyptians as Waset, and was an ancient Egyptian city located along the Nile, about 800 kilometers, 500 miles south of the Mediterranean. It says its ruins lie within the modern Egyptian city of Luxor. Thebes was the main city of the fourth Upper Egyptian Noon, and was the capital of Egypt for long periods during the Middle Kingdom and the New Kingdom eras. It was close to Nubia and the Eastern Desert, with its valuable mineral resources and trade routes. It was a center, the center and the most venerated city during many periods of ancient Egyptian history, or ancient Kemetic history. Okay, good. So we're speaking of the ancient city, what is known as Thebes. Now, Thebes, interesting, which is almost another conversation, but Thebes, you can find Thebes in Greece too. There are other Thebes besides just the Thebes in Egypt. Just like in ancient time, you had more than one Egypt as such, as far as the name, because what we call Egypt today wasn't no Egypt, that was Kemet or Tamari or smite away, which is the united land. But mystically, the place that is called Thebes, which wasn't its original name, it was given the name Thebes by the Greeks or the Greeks. So, and because they have a Thebes in Greece too. All right, very, very deep. But one of these days, we're going to break down what we're saying as it relates to that. But let's stick to the point here. Good. So, this Thebes, as the Greeks call it, is the Waset, modern day Luxor, or at least it makes a part, as I said earlier, of modern day Luxor. So just giving you an idea. And as this writing says, the River Nile, it is on the banks of the River Nile, and it was referred to as the city of Noe. N-O. It's like, let's just in the same way you have the city of Nun, you have the city of Noe. Okay. And it says here, just to read something quickly, the name of Thebes appears in the Bible as the city of Noe Amun in the books of the book of Nahum, which we just read, and also as Noe in the book of Ezekiel, and also mentioned in the book of Jeremiah. So this great city is mentioned in Jeremiah, in Ezekiel, and also mentioned, as we just read, in the book of Nahum. So let us understand the importance of this city again. It was the capital of ancient Kemet for a very long time in the Middle Kingdom and also in the New Kingdom. And remember, they have intermediate kingdoms as well, or periods. Intermediate periods, we should call them, between the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. So what I'm showing the family here, this is a very important real estate. This city that was situated on the River Nile, according to history. It is along the banks of the River Nile, and basically it was well established. So history at least shows us that this city had a very serious stronghold in Northeast Africa. It was the capital of Kemet for a long time. Remember in the Bible, one of the Egyptian kings, I think is Taharka, the Ethiopian king, was considered the king of Egypt and all the world. But again, that's from a biblical perspective, historically now, because this is history we're dealing with for the moment, you still get a strong sense that the city of Thebes, and of course Kemet in general, history shows you that Egypt for sure was at its apex as it relates to governance of the planet at a specific time in its history and its civilization. I think we all know that. And then of course you have a city like Thebes, the same Waset, that would have been the governing nucleus at the time. So if Egypt or Cushan, that area, was running the world, and then Thebes or Waset was the capital of that area, then that would have been the capital city of the world. It makes sense. But then now, listen to me. Some people will say, well, okay, yeah, but this is not, we want tangible proof. All right. Remember, the question was, can I prove from the Bible, not from history? I myself said, even though it's obvious where Africa stood in history and its its greatness, I am not sure if I could pull specifically a file. Maybe someone can. I'm not saying it's not there. That you can definitively prove that, look, on a governmental level, Africa was ruled by one, governance, and he was the king, and this was the name of it, and so and so. Not the name of Al Kabalan, but without, because many people argue that. That's the argument. Well, you all say you're Africans. There's no one African. There's so many different tribes. Tell me when Africa was one tribe. Tell me when Africa had one government. All right, good. So let's return to Nahum now, the book of Nahum. So Nahum is asking Nineveh now, are you better than populous Waset? Are you better than Thebes that had so many people there, populated. So obviously it's a place of commerce, a place of higher education, a place of so many different things, trade, marketing, business hub, Thebes. Are you better than her? That's to show you she was of a standard. Are you better than her? Let me tell you about Norway or Thebes. She was situate amongst the rivers. We just saw that in the history book. It said that Thebes was on the River Nile, and it was 500 miles south of the Mediterranean Sea, which is very important. Thebes was 500 miles south of the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. In the Bible, God is describing Thebes or Norway as this place that is amongst the river, that's where it is, that had the waters round about it. Now, that is a very interesting statement. That had the waters round about it. So you may ask, Thebes had water round about it? In what way? That sounds like when you have a moat around a castle. Because Thebes, although it was on the banks of the river, it didn't have water as such round about it. So what does it mean by it had waters round about it? It goes on to say, whose rampart was the sea. I want you to follow this good. Whose rampart was the sea. Now, rampart basically means your borders of defense. Could also be interpreted as a standing wall of defense. Then it goes on to say, and her wall was from the sea. See, so says wall and still says rampart, basically the same thing. All right, let's examine this geographically now. So the city of Thebes, little old city in Egypt, in Kemet. And it's a little, you know what I mean, relatively speaking, to the rest of the landmass. And the River Nile is on the banks of the River Nile. But yet still the scripture says, and it had the sea round about it. How that happened? Thebes don't have the sea round about it. Africa have the sea round about it, but not Thebes. But if Thebes was the capital, not just of Kemet, if Thebes was the capital of all of Africa, maybe the world, but let's stick to what we have here. If Thebes or Norway was the capital of all of Africa, then you could say it had the waters round about it, because that was just the capital of a united continent, Africa. Okay, it goes on to say, its rampart was the sea. Now tell me, rampart means your borders or your walls, specifically in using the term like of defense. So if your rampart is the sea, I'm on an island here, 108 square miles. If I'm to tell you, well, the walls of this island here is the sea, what does that mean? Or the rampart of this island is the sea, and the walls is the sea. That means the sea determines my border, basically, especially of defense if I'm using rampart, where, that's it. Because remember, there's no sea around Thebes. Waset doesn't have the sea around it. But yet still, it is a city that is known to have been in authority of Northeast Africa for a very long time. And history shows, of course, the prominence of Northeast Africa. So when the biblical scripture now is highlighted that this little city, Thebes or Norway, had authority that reached to the sea. That's what it's saying, the power, the arm of Thebes was so strong that it reached to the sea, to the coast, from sea to shining sea. So there was nowhere on the landmass that it was situated on, between it and the sea, that it didn't control. Now, history To me, history really hints at that. Maybe some of you who would have done more scholarly research than me in that area can pinpoint that Thebes would have ruled all of Africa, not just Kemet and not just Northeast Africa, but all of Africa. Because, from my humble perspective, when I look at the biblical book of Nahum, I'm getting the impression that this city, Norway, which is Thebes, had governance over all of Africa. Because that's where the sea stops, at the end of Africa. The sea is around Africa. It's not around Thebes. But Thebes is the headquarters of Africa. So that means it had dominion. That's what it says, it's dominion. It didn't use the word dominion, but its wall was from the sea. Its rampart was the sea. So that means it governed from where it was as a central point, going east, west, north, and south, and all points in between until it came to the sea. So from my humble perspective, looking at scripture and unraveling scripture, I came to the humble decision, you could tell me if you think I'm wrong, that according to the Bible, it is showing that Africa was once one governance, even in that specific way, as it relates to the city of Thebes. Give thanks. So, as I said, that was one of the first question. I have some more here, but let me go to the chat first to see if there is anyone here that will we have here. Someone has, what about Pangaea? Now, well, as I said, the question that was asked was as it relates to governance. That is almost on another level. You could talk about what's the other name for the other continent. They have several supercontinents. When you study geology, historic geology, Pangaea would be one. I think Goroland or Goroland, something like that, was one of the continents. You had several, according to geologists. You get me good, eh? You had several supercontinents, or when the Earth was of one mass, and that doesn't necessarily denote a time of one rulership, because you have ones that will come in on the evolutionary aspect of it and the creational aspect of it, and that may have been a time when the Earth was in its natural formation. But we're speaking historically when we can specifically say we're dealing with man as we know it today, Homo sapiens, sapien as we know it today, civilized human being running creation and taking care of business and leaving records. That's really what we're looking at. And can we say that there's a time when the landmass of Africa would have governed itself? Because as I said, that's a big argument. And I think, at least looking at it from the biblical perspective, I believe that what I just highlighted would have done that. So give thanks. That question there came from K Gustav. Yeah, and saluting us all the way from DC. That is the District of Columbia. So give thanks continually, Marcus Garvey in the house. Give thanks to Jimmy Lights. Give thanks Della Peters. And this is Stephanie Marie saying, where are we really and why? Well, Sister Stephanie, you'd have to explain that a little deeper for me, and then maybe I could answer that. Where are we and why? K Gustav, okay, I just touched you. Said, priest, thanks for the gems. Bless up from New York. That's Aladdin Agad. Okay, DNA upgrades ahead. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's Empress Heidi St. Clair. I hear you. And okay, let me see who else we have here. And give thanks to Empress Marija, Honorable Prophet Jaggies. Give thanks continually, my Lord and Empress, in the volcano island there. Give thanks continually, shaking and quaking in the earth. Enough blessings and joy, Yeah, man. Holy Manuel I, Selassie I, Jah. Rastafari also have Selassie Chapel. This is Bless Up from Texas. Okay, very good. All right. Okay, let me see if I got is a question I have here. Well, it says ask the priest anything. I don't mean I could answer anything, or I mean more on the subject, but this one is saying, priest, I am currently doing networking administration and information security associate degree. Is accountant a better field? Okay, well, all right, good question. And yeah, we can answer that and use that even in our meditation, Yeah, Kushite TV, give thanks. Now, I definitely can't tell a person what is a better field. What is a better field? There are many things upon the earth that we have to take care of, and many works that has to be done. Many things that we have to do as a government, as a people. See, we just talk about when Africa was one. Although we just have these discussions in a very romantic way. When I say romantic, not Valentine's romantic means you kind of fantasize about it, but it's a real thing. Whether in the next 100 years or 200 years, but we ourselves as a people have to start to return back to our ancient civilization. It will happen. Nobody can stop it. Even if we feel comfortable here in this miry clay that we've been given to live in, it must happen. So what I'm saying still, Kushites TV, whatever craft, whatever skill that you can acquire, because you can't limit yourself to none of them degrees business. All the things you highlight there sound to me like something that we need on the battlefield. Network administration, that sounds like something we need on the battlefield. Information security, that sounds like something that we need on the battlefield. Accountant, man, we definitely need that on the battlefield. You understand? And keeping in mind, if you're studying this from, of course, those who would have given us a rough time for the last 400 years, obviously they're going to be training you the way that they want you to think. So you got to be skillful as well. Whatever it is you go and study it before you go and study it. Whatever it is you're going to study it before you go and study it. You understand? So you could understand specifically from a conscious point of view. Okay, it's Kushite TV, name the man. From a conscious point of view, what you'll be going into. So when they start to flinging them, pseudo swords, they can pick it up and know how to attack it and deal with it correctly. So family, whatever skills that you can acquire, in the Caribbean, we like to call it a trade. We usually talk about children not learning trade anymore. Trade is what, like, you learn to be an electrician or a plumber and all of these different things, but trade can be mind work too. Trade can be mind information security, my brother. That sounds serious. Accountant, that is serious again. What was the other one? I can't even remember what the other one is. But whatever it is, networking administration, these are the things that we as a people need, to band together, to work together, to move this thing to another level. Very, very important. All right, family. Oh my, the time is on me. I have to go into the tiger's nest right now. I have a serious program to deal with tonight. To me, it's really not overbearing, but it's seriously disgusting. But we're gonna go into it. I'm not going to spend that much time because I want to make sure I'm ready for 8 o'clock tonight. But in the next 10 minutes, family, on the tiger's nest, I'm sure many of you watching the news, especially the news that is a bit against the Democratic Party, you'd hear a lot of pushback against certain things. Like, for example, they had the thing with Disney. That's really where I'm going. Apparently, Disney now is forcing specific agendas in their shows. Now, to me, they've always been doing that. that ain't nothing new. But for some reason, it is coming out now, as I would call it, them sodomite agenda. Straight up, that's really what it is. They can do what they want with the video. But you see, this is why now we're having that reasoning on the Tiger's Nest on Radio Anu, because you can't come here on this platform and really express what you have to express in the way you want to express it. And when I say you, I'm talking about me, because what we're going to do tonight, I don't know if you've heard the secret meeting. Well, it wasn't secret as such, it was amongst themselves, but there was an executive meeting for the members of this same establishment, that's Disney. And it got out, and they were just talking about the agenda and how they're going to be forcing all of what they want as a part of their agenda into their cartoons and in their programs and all of these different things. So I'm going to be highlighting that deeper tonight, show you what it has to do with the law the bill that they passed in Florida, even down to the abortion bill, that all of that stuff. You will see where it all links, family, showing you the level of sickness this society that wants to govern us is in, and trying to keep us in. It's deep, man. It's some deep sickness. But as I said, I don't think I could even begin to start to go to that level right here, live and direct with you. So in a few moments, just make sure you join me even on Radio Anu. Of course, you know how to get there. Priest Isaac Institute at that's the email. PriestIsaacInstitute.com, PriestIsaacInstitute.com, and the link is in the description below. Because you have to keep in mind, family, this, a lot of the people you hear coming against this now is on a political level. But we ain't dealing with no political level. We're dealing with the reality level. Listen, I'm not going to say no more because I can't really express it the way I want to express it on them platforms. It might just come down. But anyway, family, remember, you still have a chance. You still have an hour and 8 minutes. Not for the Tiger's Nest. The Tiger's Nest is coming on now. But remember, it's at 8 tonight. The official workshop is finally here. Yes, it's tonight, the 9th of May. Honorable Empress Naya, our official certified doula, she will be hosting the natural childbirthing workshop this evening. Of course, I know you've heard us, speak about that from time to time. I mean, you still have a chance. I think there's still space left for sure. I see the Honorable Empress would have been in the chat a moment ago, so she can let you know there's still space, but I'm sure you'd have to contact her right now. I don't think you can wait too long if you want to be a part of the workshop tonight. Remember, after the workshop, you will get a certificate of completion of the workshop. It's a serious workshop. Make sure you come with your pen and your pad tonight to take the notes, because that's going to be very important. It's not a lecture you're coming to. It's not a lecture. It's not a reasoning, but it is a reasoning too, because it's going to be very interactive. They're going to be question and answer. In fact, let me just spill the beans a little bit. It's going to be fun. It's definitely going to be something you're going to remember. You should have already prepared yourself and gathered the family together, and definitely, have a good vibes tonight. Remember, you can even make your payments using the CashApp and the PayPal, and the link for all of that is in the description below for sure. And I mean, this is the gift of life. We're talking about bringing a child into the world. This is the gift of life, Rastafari. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the house. I will definitely be there. That's why I'm going to the Tiger's Nest right now. Definitely make sure you join me on the Tiger's Nest too, so we can go into this subject area about Disney in its real length and perspective. And then, of course, after that, we will meet up with the Honorable Empress Naya for the child birthing workshop. Wow, so many things to do this evening alone. Give thanks for staying with us, family. Give thanks for the love. Give thanks for the life giver and the keeper of life. And again, meet us on Radio Anu. Holy Manuel Selassie, Jah Rastafari. Blessed love. Yeah. Before I go there, yeah, man. Violet SJ, good point. The fact that is In some states, you can kill a 28-year-old infant. Imagine that. 24-day-old infant and still call it abortion makes me want to throw up. It is sick and murder. Cut off the Pope. Jah Rastafari. Blessed love.